Welcome to the last session of this series. I'm super sad this is ending because this is my passion and what I truly enjoy really doing. So welcome to the last one. If you ever need to reach out for anything about this, my contact information is on all of those slides for you, and I'm happy to help out. As we get going into the school year, I do take some time to answer emails. However, I've had to get students into classes this week, so it might be delayed. But I'm here to help you out with this. Okay, so our last session today is wrapping it all up with online trust. So if I'm talking to others online, who can I trust? How do I know who to trust? And how can I build trust with them? Because it's very important to have meaningful relationships, and online relationships can be very meaningful and helpful to be included in society and just to have a healthy social life. So the first thing is talking about online connections. What is that? What does it look like? And who should we be having connections with? So online connections is can be anything from talking in a fan group for a certain artist to connecting with family and relatives online, friends in real life online, and making friends with strangers online. So I can make friends with somebody from, I don't know, England online, or I don't know whatever countries are out there. I'm not a geographer. So I can make global friends through social media. I have a friend from Canada that I've met on social media. So these online connections is that exactly that, having these relationships happen not just in real life but online as well. All right, so what kind of contacts and connections should everybody who uses social media have? The first one that is crucial is in case of emergency contacts. So who can I contact on social media if something is happening and I need help right away? So if I get lost somewhere and can't figure out where I am, who can I contact that could help me? So I might have, my relatives' phone numbers, but if they're all at work and can't answer, who can I contact online? Maybe my neighbor's there, maybe a coworker is there, something like that, or a teacher that I can talk to and be like, hey, can you help me for a second on social media? So always having somebody that's online that that can help you if there's an emergency. The next one I like to talk about is Facebook groups. Facebook groups are a great way to start connections with people who have similar interests as you. For example, I am in a group for Kentucky waterfalls and hiking because I like nature. And sometimes I go out and go hiking, and I want to know where are the great places in Kentucky to see. So in that group, everyone talks about this. And if somebody shares something that's not related to the topic or is inappropriate, the moderators of those groups quickly kick them out of the group. They're no longer allowed in there, they're banned from the group. So it's a really safe place to talk about those interests before you even get into the group. And I would love to do a session about Facebook groups because there's a lot to learn about them. But before you get into them, you have to do a little kind of application. You go and try to join it, and it asks you questions. And before they let you in, the moderator will read your answers and admit you to it. So funny story about that I like to tell about this. One of my friends does not like snakes at all. They terrify her, and I get it. They terrify me. But one day she's here in Lexington. She found a snake in her yard, and she wanted to know what kind of snake it was. So she quickly joined a Snakes of Kentucky Facebook group, and they asked her the question, what's your favorite snake? And she put in there a dead snake because she doesn't like snakes. And she quickly got banned from the page because it did not adhere to the Kentucky Snakes Facebook group rule. So it's very moderated on who's in that group and very safe place to talk about it. So if I go to my hiking group and I post a picture of my dog and we're not hiking, they will delete it from the group. Nobody can engage with that post. So very safe place to start gaining meaningful relationships with people who have the same likes. Trusted friends, family, and acquaintances. Yes, we should be having those online as well. The big thing to know about this is celebrities. Celebrities are not personal friends, right? Unless we actually know them in our personal life. Some of us do. But let's say the latest one right now that I've had to talk to kids about is Taylor Swift. Everybody wants to go to her concerts, wants to be part of the Eras tour, I think it is. I don't have no idea. But they want to be Taylor Swift's friend. And so they join her things on Facebook. And Facebook can make it feel like she is your personal friend because she's engaging with you. But when we follow celebrities, we want to make sure we're following the actual celebrity themselves. And there's a way to do that because there's a lot of people out there, predators especially, will make fake profiles of celebrities to get you to talk to them. So Jojo Siwa, there's tons of Jojo pages out there that are not real. They're not her. And it's just people looking for things from people. So predators. So you can know that celebrities are who they say they are online by making sure they're verified. And I'll show you that on the next slide. So verified celebrity means they are actually the person. They have gone through a process verifying, I'm Taylor Swift, I'm Jojo Siwa, I don't know what other big names right now. So make sure the celebrity is verified. They're okay to follow and engage with. But it's important to know that if that celebrity messages you and it comes from their verified account, sometimes it's not them. And I've always shared this in my classes and it just breaks my students' hearts. Like, oh, Jojo C was not actually the one talking to me. So some celebrities have their managers run their social media. They don't want to see it. They don't want to engage with horrible things that people are saying about them because that happens. So they hire somebody to do it for them. So behind the screen, it might not actually be the celebrity. It's just somebody pushing out what they want them to say. So that's really important to know. About 95% of celebrities aren't actually the celebrity. It's a manager. It's somebody doing it for them. It's an agent. And the other thing is I've had students who have tried to message celebrities and they get mad that the celebrity doesn't message back. A lot of celebrities use a platform that will put the same exact thing on everything, not just Facebook. It goes across all the social media platforms. And that platform that they use doesn't get messages. They can't see them and they can't send messages. So if you get a message from a celebrity and it's not verified and it's a weird name like Miley Cyrus 1234, it's probably not the celebrity and somebody you don't want to talk to. So it's okay to follow them. It's great to know what Taylor Swift is doing, what your favorite celebrity is doing, and engage with the fans who are the same interest as you. Just make sure they're verified. So what does verified look like? This is Taylor Swift because she's the big deal right now. So this is Taylor Swift across all social media, the big 5 social media platforms. You'll see that she has a lot of the similar profile pictures, but I know it's her because she's verified. And you'll see these little red arrows that point to these little buttons and music notes. That means they're verified. So on Facebook, on the top left corner here on my screen, she has a little blue like circle that has white check mark in it. That means she's verified. On Snapchat, it's a little yellow circle with a star in it. That means she's verified. She is Taylor Swift. Instagram, just like Facebook, blue circle, white check mark, means that it's Taylor Swift or her manager or her agent, whoever is doing it for her. TikTok is the same, little light blue circle with a white check mark. She's verified. It is who she says that she is. YouTube's a little different. So I had to put 2 up for YouTube because sometimes it will use an icon for what they are. So Taylor Swift is a singer. So the little red arrow points at a little music note. That means she's a verified singer. Some actors might have a little like actor, little, I don't know what they call it, the thing that goes like chomp chomp, like an alligator. They might have one of those. It means that they're a verified actor. But Mr. Beast here, Mr. Beast, if you don't know who he is, he's a major influencer on YouTube, does a lot of vlogging and challenges and things like that. Lots of kids follow him just to see what he does. He has a little black circle with a white check mark in it. So that's different. It means he's an influencer who is verified. He's not a famous person, he's an influencer. So celebrities will have little icons like a music note or a little like cut action sign thing. Influencers like Mr. Beast will have that black circle with the white check mark in it. So those are all the verified signs. They have changed it up. It used to all just be a blue circle with a white check mark, but there's always something next to the name if they're verified. So if you get something from Taylor Swift and there's not that check mark, that star, that music note, it's not Taylor Swift. It's somebody acting like her, pretending to be her, to get things from people or scam people or things like that. So very important to know. I fall victim of this all the time. Hey, it's Coldplay. It's not actually Coldplay. So I just showed my age with that, but wow. So always look for verified things. If you follow celebrities, follow organizations, a lot of them are verified with symbols like that. News stations, same thing. So if you're following anything that's major, and always has something coming out in the news, look for that verified sign. Jojo Siwa has all those things across platforms as well. Okay. All right, so online trust. How that all ties into online trust is we can engage with these verified things and we can get a lot of people who have the same interest as us. And some people, they might contact us because we're engaging with them. So for example, I did a conversation or a comment on somebody's page once, and I had strangers contacting me through messages based on what I said. So things can happen from engaging with that. Okay, so online trust, what is it? Online trust is exactly like in-person trust. So we are engaging with somebody and the person is who they say they are. They're exactly what they're telling us. Everything is true about them. They're not posing to be somebody. They are who they say they are, just like we are in real life relationships. So the biggest things with online trust is they are people who are honest about who they say they are, and they're not intentionally going to cause you harm. So they're not looking for emotionally making you upset, angry, anxious. They're not looking to physically harm you, meet you in person and cause physical harm. They're not looking to take money from you or gain anything from you. So that is online trust. They're who they say they are, and they're not going to hurt you in any way. They're a real person, and they're genuine and sincere and honest. So just like real life, just online. The difference is it's harder to see online if the person is actually who they say they are. So I'm going to show you how we can do that. All right. So why is trust important online? That's a big question. So it's important online because online trust can build a foundation for a mutual connection, mutual relationship, friendship. And online trust promotes safety and it makes sure that you're safe. So if we trust somebody and we talk to them for years online, we video chat with them, and they are who they say they are, you can feel safe meeting them in person. So online trust is incredibly important because it can build this lifelong relationship with somebody. And online trust, I'm going to talk about going private in a little bit. and decisions to do that and when we should make those decisions. So all of this ties into online trust. Again, it's a lot harder to see trust online. So I'm going to teach you what it looks like, how to see that it's there, and when that trust gets violated or somebody doesn't, it all of a sudden isn't who they say they are, how to stop talking to them. Okay. So let's get into the meat of today. So when we make friends with online strangers, who is safe? So I used to have a blog. It's no longer there, so you can't find it. I deleted it. But I used to have a blog, and I would talk about my experience as a special education teacher, and people would engage with me through this blog. And I actually made a very good friend. She was a stranger. I made a very good friend who I still talk to today through that blog. She was messaging me, commenting on things. So she was a complete stranger. I had no idea who she was, but we have a great friendship now. So some things that to think about when we're making friends online are these right here. So the first one that's really important is it's somebody that's not telling you we need to meet right now. So I just started talking to you online and I'm saying, hey, you're going to meet me in person at Starbucks. Let's do it now, even though you don't know who I am. So it's somebody who's okay with just talking to you online. They don't really want to go private, is what I'm going to say, because that's the big thing right now is going private. So they're okay with messaging you on Facebook, Instagram, the dating app. They're not pressuring you for your personal phone number. They're okay to stay within the app. So with people who do that, maybe for months, years, they don't pressure to go private and talk somewhere else where nobody else can see it. That's a good sign that they're safe to talk to. If it's somebody who's all of a sudden, after talking to them once, asks for your phone number, wants to text you, wants to WhatsApp you, without the platforms knowing who they are, that is a red flag. You want to stay within the apps and talk to them for a while before you give them any of that information and meet them somewhere else that's private where nobody can see what they're doing. Because Facebook, even though it looks like it's a private message, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, they all have these things that watch out for you. They keep things in little file cabinets online. I don't know how they do it in the cyber world, but they have a record of everything that's happening. So if anything happens, it's there and it's safe. But when we go somewhere else and the person can change their contact information, and engage with you differently, it's no longer tied to that person. So stay on the app for a while. And if they don't pressure you to go off the app, they're usually safe to talk to. The other big one is that they share information about themselves. When we talked about online dangers last week, predators tend to always agree with you and never talk about themselves. So if you ask them questions about themselves and they can answer it and talk a little bit about themselves, share things about their day, and it's not 100% like what you've said, that's somebody that's usually safe to continue talking to. But if it's somebody where you say, hey, I love pizza, and they say, I love pizza too, then you're like, oh, I'm 20 years old, and they say, I'm 20 years old too, and they just keep saying back what you're saying, it's usually not safe. There's usually something that's going on there. So that's something to watch out for too. Make sure the person talks about themselves. And I have an easier, I call it the top 5. You'll get to that on questions to ask on if the person's safe. Other things, the biggest one is they will not pressure you to do anything. That's a big one too. If somebody who is safe online, they won't pressure you to meet them in person, to send them pictures, to give them your information, or to keep them secret. So a stranger online who is safe will not do that stuff. They'll be like, sure, tell your family about me, tell your friends about me. They don't care that people know about them. But if a person ever says, keep me secret, that's usually where we need to stop that conversation. So those are the safe things to remember on who's safe with the strangers, who are safe online. Okay. So this is the online trust 5 that I just talked about. A lot of my students would call it the OTF. They liked that acronym, but it is 5 things to think about when you're talking with somebody and you think, should I trust them? Should I keep talking to them? Should I have some kind of online relationship with them, whether that's dating or just talking like true friendships, and like that happens with that. So the first one, these get a little lengthy. I have been working on making them shorter and developing visuals with it, working on it. It's coming soon. So the online trust 5 is 5 things. If there's a yes to any one of these 5 questions or 5 statements, that means we need to stop talking to the person. That trust isn't there and they could be dangerous. So the first one, the person has asked you to go private, which means they want to talk only on text message or private messages. So you have, let's say, Tommy so-and-so has messaged you, you talk for a day or two, and then they come out and say, I want your phone number because I want to text you. Let's go private. Let's not stay on Facebook. Let's go talk on your cell phone. Or talk in WhatsApp. Some people will do that because you can be anonymous if you want to. Or Kik, that's another one, K-I-K, where they can be anonymous. So if the person has asked to go private or has said, let's just text, let's get out of this app, that's something that you need to stop talking to them unless you really know who they are. So that's the first one. If it's ever, let's go private, we got to stop and think. The second one is the person has told me to keep them secret. Don't tell anybody about them. If there's ever that word secret said, that's another thing that we need to say, okay, we're stopping and we're not going to talk to this person until I know for sure that this is okay to trust them. The third one is a huge one, especially with online dating. So I've had a lot of young adults that I've taught who have wanted to date online, which is fine. I mean, I've done it. I mean, everyone now who's in their 20s and 30s dates online, right? That's how they meet people. So when dating online, I've always had these young adults come to me and say, when is it okay for me to meet them in person? Or when should I know not to trust them on the dating app? So the number 3 here is a big one, and it says, if the person has asked you to meet them in person before you video chat with them, that is a sign that you need to stop with them as well. Always ask to video chat at least 3 times. That's my rule with even myself. At least 3 times within the app before you meet in person or before you pursue anything. With trusting them to be a boyfriend, girlfriend. So the rule that one's there because if you do it 3 times, you have 3 different opportunities to see if the person is who they say they are. So if number 1, Mary Jo, myself is video chatting with you on Facebook or Instagram or eHarmony or Match or Tinder, and I don't show my face at all, it's dark in my room, I have a hood on. That's a thing where you're like, okay, this is kind of weird. My students would say it's sketch, right? Like that's what, I don't know why they say that, but it's sketchy. So that's the first one. Mary Jo didn't show her face. I don't know who she is. I didn't see her clearly. Maybe I couldn't hear her. So that's number 1. If I video chat with her, number 2, and all of a sudden I can see her face, she looks like she is in the pictures, she sounds like herself. Okay, we can trust her a little more. Maybe she was having video issues, or maybe she was, just rolled out of bed and her hair was a mess or something. So then number 3, we go on video chat again. And I can see her again. She looks the same as she did in session 5, 4, 3, or whatever we were in. And she's acting the same. We could probably say we can trust her. So we video chatted 3 times. We gave her 3 chances to show who she is. We might want to pursue further with her if we like her and want to. The next one is if she, let's say she didn't show her face the first one. The second time she said, oh, my internet's down, my camera's not working, you can't see me. Third time she does it again, you can't see her. So all 3 times you didn't get to see her face. You didn't get to see what she's like in real life. That's something we should not trust. We need to not talk to that person. They're hiding who they really are. So 3 times gives you 3 times to make sure it is the person they say they are. They look the same, they sound the same, they act the same. That also gives artificial intelligence a chance to mess up. Because artificial intelligence, we talked a little bit about that, I think, last time. Artificial intelligence, people are taking celebrity faces and making it act and sound like they are the voice and the person is just the face. It's really creepy. I should have put some pictures of AI of myself on here so you can see that I look different than what AI puts on there. But with 3 different videos, if somebody's using artificial intelligence on their video, you can tell because they will look a little different every time. They won't look the same. Something will be different. Their eye color may be, sometimes it might have an extra finger. That's happened a lot with artificial intelligence, is giving somebody 7 fingers. So you'll see things that are a little different in each video when you're video chatting with them, if it's artificial intelligence. And if it is, that means you need to stop. The person's not who they say they are. So that's why number 3 is on there. If you're ever going to meet them in person, at least 3 times within the app, video chat with them. Number 4 for trust is the person only talks about me and what I like. That's a huge red flag for online trust. That means the person could be doing something called grooming you. And when they groom you, that means they like to say, oh, you're so great. You're so pretty. Everything about you is wonderful. Yes, I agree with you. Let's talk more about you and not about me. That's usually predatory behavior. So that could be a predator talking to you. You don't want to continue with that. Even though it makes you feel good. It's great to hear great things about yourself. But if somebody's only doing that, there could be a predator behind that computer. And then the 5th one is the person has sent you inappropriate messages or content and maybe asked for some pictures of you that you don't want to send. Somebody ever does that, that's another thing that we need to stop talking to that person. So if any one of these, I know those are big, long things. I'm working on making it shorter, but you get the first go at this. Nobody else has gotten this content from me. So those are the 5 things to think about when we're trusting somebody online, when we're deciding, should we talk to this person in person? Do I want to date this person? Those are the 5 things we need to think about. And if any one of those things are a yes, you need to stop and show somebody, talk to somebody about it, and maybe just stop contacting the person. So I know that's a lot of stuff, but it's there for you on the slide. When my website gets up and going, I'm hoping to have the finalized version of this because I've got some of the students that I work with helping me with this. But that's there for you. You got it. Those are the 5 criteria for really knowing, do I pursue further? Okay. So now that we've talked about the 5 criteria on who I should trust online, the next thing is to talk about how do I build trust with others? Because that's just important, as important as knowing who to trust. So when I worked with my students on this, they told me 3 things about building trust with others. So we talked about, how do you build trust in person? How do you know that's a friend and I want to be their friend? Same thing online. How do I know that that's a friend and I want to be their friend, and how can I build that friendship with them? So this is called Netiquette. If you've never heard of this, Netiquette is the etiquette of the internet. It's the social skills that we use online. A little different than in person. because you're typing everything, you're video chatting, or you're all behind a screen. So Netiquette is what that is. I usually do a lot of sessions on that, but we only have 5 sessions for this series. So I'm not hitting on it this time, but I wanted to throw this stuff in because it's really important. So the netiquette of trusting others online, the netiquette to that, the etiquette of building that trust is these 3 things. First, just like real life, you ask the person about themselves. And this also helps you with the top 5 or the 5 online trust things. So you ask them questions about themselves and they talk to you about themselves. So if somebody said, "Hey, Mary Jo," they typed it to me, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, North Dakota originally, but I live in Kentucky." So you're asking me questions. I'm like, "Hey, they're interested in me." "Oh, I see you have a picture of your dog. What's its name?" "Oh, Teddy." They want to talk about my dog. So just like real life, we're asking questions online to get to know the person. So that's the first step, asking questions. And if the person doesn't want to talk about themselves, we can stop and think, okay, why don't they want to talk about themselves? There's something there that might not be something we want to trust. So if you messaged me and said, "Where are you from?" And I'd just be like, "Doesn't matter, where are you from?" If I said something like that, that's something we want to be like, "Oh, this person, no, that could be dangerous." Or if you said, "Hey, I see a picture of your dog. What's his name?" And I said, "Oh, Teddy." And I just said that and talked nothing about my dog. Because a true dog lover would be like, "Oh, I took him to the park today, right?" Or, "Oh, he's barking out the window right now." So if the person doesn't talk about themselves, it's a huge thing. So ask them questions. It will help you with that. The other things are allowing time for that relationship to build. When we meet people online, it's really easy. I do this all the time too. Really easy to become somebody who sends lots of messages and all of a sudden, "Hey, I have this friend," right? I've done it with online friendships. So allowing time for this trust to happen and the friendship online to happen means we have 1 to 3, even more weeks where we're building this trust with somebody. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not something that happens in a week. So we're allowing time for this friendship to happen online. We're talking with them for more than a day, and we're really getting to know who they are as a person online. So we're allowing time for this relationship to happen. That helps build trust with the other person as well. You're giving them time to say, "Do I trust that person that's talking to me?" Because they have to think about that too. It goes both ways on both sides of the screen. And the last one is allowing the other person to reply before sending more messages. Um, Everyone gets busy, right? And it's okay if we forget to reply. I do that a lot. I always forget to reply because I get tons of emails and students wanting things. So sometimes even my text messages I don't reply to because I forget. So allow time for replies. I always said allow at least an hour or at least a day. If somebody doesn't reply to you on Facebook, you might want to say, "Hey, you okay?" Checking in to see if you got my message. Um, so it's okay for them to not reply right away. Wait for that reply. Um, and then they could say, "Hey, this person's patient. They wait for me even though I get busy." That's pretty cool. I want to be their friend. So that's a good thing too. Um, it's easy to remember that online's a little different than in person. So I can always say, like, I send tons of text messages to my sister because I annoy her, right? So with her, I send like 5 different messages if she doesn't reply right away. But with an online stranger, I would send one and then wait for them. Because they don't know me. They don't know, "Hey, Mary Jo can be annoying at times," right? Because I can be. Um, so if they wait for me to reply, or I wait for them to reply, I can build that trust with that person so they can know, this is just Mary Jo. She replies every now and then, writes 5 different things, uses 5 exclamation marks and all of that. So that's how we build trust with others online. just like real life. We allow time and we ask about that person. Okay. This is a huge one too that I wasn't going to put in here, but it ties into online trust. This is also it goes with kind of the dangers that we talked about last time. But what happens if somebody is sharing inappropriate content with you that you don't want to see? You get a picture of something and you don't want to see it. They say a mean thing to you. You don't want to hear it. It bothers you. Or if they just keep messaging you over and over and over and over and over, and to the point where you have 20 missed video calls, 30 messages to reply to from them, to the point of where it might be something called harassment. It's a lot of stuff. They just keep bothering you. So that can happen to you. And if it does, there are actions you can take. So last week I talked about the top 3 trusted network that you have. You can always talk to somebody about that about that. Hey, this person keeps messaging me over and over. It's annoying. Mary Jo's doing it, right? Because I do it to my sister. How do I stop it? So talking to somebody about it. If you really want to, you can be honest with the sender too. So my sister would be like, Mary Jo, you need to stop. You know that you're blowing my phone up and I'm at work. You need to stop. Stop sending me messages, right? Or you can just say, hey, you're really bothering me. Can you stop? And if the person's like, nope, I'm going to keep bothering you online. I'm going to keep sending you mean things, sending you things that bother you, then we need to move on and block that person. So I showed you in that last session that we did how to block somebody. I didn't show you how to unfollow somebody. That would be in a different session. But block them. If they're sending you inappropriate things, report them. So you can also do something called unfollow on Facebook. That means that you can unfollow somebody. No, they can't send you messages. You won't see their content, but you're still friends with them. It gets a little complicated. It sounds kind of weird, but you can still be friends with somebody and not engage with them online. The other one is ignore it. Just ignore that it's happening if you want to do that. But I always say block them if you don't want it to keep happening. So, oh, there was something I was going to say about this, but I forgot about it. Didn't have enough coffee. So if somebody's doing that, those are the things you can do about that. It does happen. It happens more than it should online. So yeah, you can make the decision to block them, ignore them, or just say, hey, stop. I need you to stop sending me these messages. Okay. The other big one, this also goes into the etiquette of the internet and making friends online and trusting people online. I threw a lot in here that I just wanted to give you because I'm not doing my Netiquette session with you. So initiating online conversations, that means starting conversations with somebody online. I've worked with tons of young adults who were afraid to reach out to friends online and start the conversation because one, they might not have known how to do that, or two, they were worried, what if that person doesn't reply to me? Is it something about me giving them anxious feelings about starting to talk to somebody online? So I really had to talk about, hey, it's okay to reach out to a friend and just say, how are you doing? That's all you need to ask. And the person will start talking to you. Or you can say, hi, I thought about you today. Let's talk. Or do you have time to chat? I miss you. So we can use these little statements to start talking to somebody online, especially a friend. So if you have long distance friendships and you want to maintain them, initiating those online conversations is really important. Not waiting for them to talk to you because sometimes people get busy. They don't pick up their phone and talk to somebody. Nothing wrong with that. It happens. That's life. So you might have to reach out and say, hey, I miss you. What are you up to? Hey, Mary Jo, how's Teddy? I haven't heard about him in a long time. So reaching out, it's okay to be the first one to talk to somebody online. especially if they're friends and family. Totally okay. So the strangers one is a little bit different. Let's say you're on a dating app or Facebook or Instagram and you're in Taylor Swift's comment sections and you say, hey, this person looks really cool and I might want to talk to them. So with that, they're strangers. You don't know who they are. You've never seen the profile before. Before you even look at them and want to talk to them, do the 3-step thing that I talked about last week. Look at them. Look at their profile. Is it legit? Do they have pictures? Do they have pictures of themselves, of things they might like? Maybe they posted a vacation picture from last month. So go into their profile and look. Sometimes you might not be able to see that profile because they are private. That's okay. That's their privacy setting that they have chosen to use. Totally okay. And if that's it, maybe we just want to find a different online friend and respect their privacy, because some people don't want to talk to strangers online, and that's okay. Totally okay. Everybody has their own decisions and how they engage with others online. So if you look at profiles of people, there are pictures there. They have content that they have shared, and they don't have really weird websites. Totally something to that you might want to talk with them about. You might want to talk and start that conversation that they're legit. They are who they say they are. And the other thing to know is if you're talking to a stranger online, that person has privacy settings set up so that strangers can't talk to them. There's nothing wrong with you. They just can't get stranger messages. That's okay. That's their decision. I have that enabled so people can't message me on Instagram. So if you're initiating online conversations on dating apps and everything, look at that profile first. Okay, the next one is wait for the replies. They will reply when they're ready to. Life happens. Things happen where they might get away from their phone. So wait for that reply before reaching out again to them. Okay. This is the top 3 steps, are the 3 steps to identifying predators, catfishers, posers, scams, all of that stuff. I talked about this last week, but I wanted to put it back in here because it ties into this, just in case you weren't here last week. So the 3 things to know when you're initiating conversations with somebody and they're a stranger, again, look at that profile. Ask them questions that might start with what's on their profile. So if you looked at my profile, I'm not going to lie, you'd see tens of thousands of pictures of my dog because I'm completely obsessed with him. So you'd be like, hey, I see you have a dog. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about him. And if I say, I don't have a dog, there is something that doesn't match. That's weird that I have tons of pictures of dogs and they're not dogs that I like. Are there not dogs that I took pictures of? Because somebody could be like, oh, I don't have a dog, but I do dog photography. There are people who do that. So if there's something where they're like, I don't know what you're talking about dogs, but there's dogs all over my profile, that's where we need to stop talking to that person and not trust them, because nobody puts things on their profiles that don't match who they are. So always stop if it doesn't seem real. The next one is to Google search the person. Google, put the person's name into Google and see what comes up. If nothing comes up, there's probably something there too, because everybody has at least one thing on Google. If you don't, you're really good at hiding yourself. So Google search the person. Younger people might not have things on Google. If they weren't active in sports and organizations and schools, or doing things out in society and communities, they might not have things. That's real. That happens to people. So at least look at their profile. Those are the 3 things you can do to see, is this somebody I should trust? Look at that profile, ask them questions about their profile, and then Google search if you need to further verify that. Okay. This is, I shared this last week, a fun little activity that some of my young adults have done to see if I'm a poser or a catfisher because they wanted to. And yeah, anyways, so what they did is they looked at me across the board. They did the top 3 things with me, the 3 steps. I don't know why I keep saying top 3. So they did the 3 steps with me. They pulled up my Instagram profile right there, that first one. They pulled up my Facebook profile, the last 2 ones, and then they Google searched me. And so what they found was, oh, there's a picture of a dog here. Yep, she always talks about the dog, so that's legit. She's real there. The dog is on her Instagram and her Facebook. That's pretty real. It looks the same. There are pictures of her on there. There's a picture of her friend Carly that I've heard about before. On Facebook, there it says that she works at Eastern Kentucky University. I know she works there. She's told me that before, so that's real. Then on Facebook, she posted about being at Eastern Kentucky University's graduation. That lines up with what she's saying on Facebook. And oh, yeah, there's a picture of graduation on her Instagram page too. And then on Google, it shows me, hey, she's a professor at Eastern Kentucky University. That picture looks like the pictures that are on her Facebook and Instagram. It looks like her. She's written some things. Oh, look, there's her dissertation about social media use. I know that she's done that. So I can see here, it matches what she's saying. And then on her Instagram, if I look at the little bio under the profile picture, it says a girl who is obsessed with her dog, and her dog even has an Instagram. Yep, that's me. So that's legit. I know this girl is obsessed with her dog. So yeah, it's real. It's real. So they looked at all of these things and compared them, and everything matches it. She's legit. She's not a poser. She's not a catfisher. She's not a predator. Predators don't take time to do that, and predators cannot throw off the algorithm of Google. So they're not smart enough to figure out, hey, I can go and like create fake things on Google to match my profiles. They can't do that because they get shut down too many times to be able to do that. So predators can't throw off Google. In the end, Google is the answer for telling you if somebody's legit because, again, predators can't throw off Google. As many times as they get reported, they create different names. So that is using those 3 steps. Okay. I talked a little bit about this, meeting somebody in person. This is really important to talk about, especially if you're wanting to date somebody that you met online. So when is the time that I should move from online to dating in person? Some people will be like, I just want to date online. That's okay. I'm there for that. But some people want to meet them in person and start that in-person relationship. So if we're doing this, we should have a plan. And I talked about this last time. But first, make sure you do that video chatting. You're video chatting in eHarmony, on Tinder, on Bumble, on Facebook, Instagram, and you're doing it again at least 3 times so that you know it's not artificial intelligence and you can trust the person because it looks like they are the real person every single time. They're acting like a real person every single time. So at least video chat with them. I like to have the rule of at least talking to them online for a month before you do anything in person. A lot of my friends say, hey, Mary Jo, this is modern age. Don't wait a month, but I'm all about safety. So be safe and talk to them online for a while before you decide to go offline and meet in person. So let's say it's time to meet somebody in person. You've gotten to know them. You trust them. Their video chats, they are who they say they are. So have some little rules with yourself. always tell somebody where you're going so they know where you are. Have your phone charged so that it's turned on, it's charged, it's there in case something happens. Have an emergency plan. So if something happens, who or what can you do to get out of it? So you can call somebody, you can text somebody. There's safety features on phones now that can be done if something happens to you. It's an SOS feature. On the iPhone, you just hold your power button and your volume button at the same time. And it will call police if you need that for SOS to save yourself from an emergency. The other big ones is not getting in person in a car with somebody if you don't really know them. A lot of people in modern dating will do that. And no, I'm a safe person. Don't get in a car with a stranger. Never. No, stranger danger. So stranger danger can apply. Yes. So yes, have your phone with you. Let somebody know, and always meet in a public place that's busy. Never go into an alley or, a dark place with this person that you don't really know in person yet. So going out to a restaurant that's crowded is really great for that first in-person date. Movie theater where there's a lot of people seeing the same movie. Or even just, a museum or something where other people are, just in case something happens. So that should have a plan. Before you do anything in person, have a plan and have somebody else know about that plan, not just yourself. Somebody else knows where you're going, what time you'll be back, what you're doing, and how you're getting there and getting back. So somebody should know all of that, no matter who you are, just for safety things. Because there's a lot of horrible things on the news now about people meeting somebody in person that they've met online and bad things happen. So having this plan in place is very crucial to being safe with meeting somebody. All right, when to end these conversations or connections. So let's say you're talking to somebody and you trust them. It's fantastic. You have a friend online. And they make you feel great, you make them feel great. It's a mutual thing, and yes, it's awesome. But something weird is happening, and you need to end that conversation. Things can happen like that. So a few things here are, again, that visual checklist that I shared a few times now. I didn't put it in this one with the stop and go sign. With that, it all kind of comes in with this too. So if the person makes you feel uncomfortable in any way, you should end that conversation. If they sent you anything inappropriate or asked you for nude pictures or pictures of you doing things, you should end that conversation. Other things is if they threaten you in any way, that's cyberbullying. We need to stop that conversation because they have actually violated some terms and conditions and can be banned from the Facebook page or whatever they're on. So if they threaten you, we need to stop. If this is a hard one to catch, but I've talked about it a little bit. If the person suddenly becomes who they said, so if they suddenly become somebody different, then we need to stop. So what that looks like is if a person starts saying, like, it's all about, oh, I agree with everything you say, you're wonderful. And all of a sudden I start to threaten you or make you feel angry. I'm no longer the sweet Mary Jo that I was. That's something that we need to stop. It's not who they say they are. That trust has been violated. So the other thing is, let's say I'm really nice to you. I agree with everything you're saying. And all of a sudden I start demanding pictures of you and saying, if you don't send me these pictures, I'm going to tell all of your secrets to people, or I'm going to post this online about you. So if I have suddenly changed like that, we need to stop talking. We need to end that conversation and that connection right away and not send these pictures. I actually know a young adult male that happened to, and he trusted the person so much that he actually sent those pictures because he believed the person would do what he said he was going to do. So if you're ever in that situation and somebody all of a sudden says, hey, now you're going to do this for me, I'm no longer the nice person I was. Yeah, we don't reply to that. Just stop, end it, tell somebody right away, or block them, because that's immediately a danger. That's a predator. So that's a big one. It's hard to notice, but there's definitely a thing if they start to make you feel uncomfortable. No, we need to stop. The other thing is if somebody says, hey, let's go private, or let's just talk off on your phone, um, and let's not let anybody know that we're talking, that's another thing to stop too. There are some cases where if you're dating online, you trust the person, you might give them your cell phone number to talk to them off the app, because some apps will make you pay to continue talking to them or something like that. With that, if it's a mutual decision, you've talked to them for a long time, you absolutely trust them, you've video chatted with them in the app, that's okay. It's okay to start texting with that person. So make sure that online trust is there before you even start. So my friend that I met on my blog, I didn't give her number until we started video chatting, and just getting to know each other. Then she got my cell phone and we started texting. So online trust before you give personal cell phone numbers or anything personal. All right. So how do we end these conversations or this contact? So something's happened. Somebody became who they said they were. They're different. They're not who they said they were. My online trust is not there anymore. Just like real life, if you no longer trust a friend, we might start doing things differently, right? We might say, that person hurt me. I don't need to talk to them anymore. So that's how it goes online too. So with that, when you're talking to somebody and they start demanding things from you or threatening you or sending you inappropriate things, we need to stop talking to them. That's the first thing. We don't reply to the messages anymore. Sometimes people can get really mean when we don't reply. I can say, why are you no longer talking to me? Oh, I'm going to hurt myself if you don't talk to me anymore. People do that. It actually happens very frequently online. A number, like at least 10 of my friends who have dated online have had that happen to them, where the person threatens about themselves to make them feel bad. So when that happens, we need to just unfollow them and block them right away. And I showed you in the last one that we did how to block people and report them online. With people who do threaten things about themselves, if you no longer talk to them, because you'd be surprised how much that happens. With that, you can report and block them. And when you report them, you can say this person needs support. So you no longer have to be there to help them. The platforms will take over and send them support that they need. That's a new thing that's been happening on the social media because of mental health initiatives. So unfriend them, unfollow them, don't talk to them anymore, even though they're trying to make you feel bad. Just stop it. Don't talk to them. They can get the support they need through that platform. So that's how we end the contact. And it's okay to do that. Just block them. When I went to a high school and talked about this exact thing last year, I think it was, I had so many of the young girls say, we're just going to block them. No, we're just going to not block them. I don't trust them anymore. It's done. I don't care if they make me feel bad. So just know that some people, predators especially, will make you feel bad for blocking them. But once you block them, you no longer get things from them. So they can't make you feel bad. You don't know how they're feeling because those messages won't come through. You have blocked it. They can't find you. You can't, well, you can find them, but they can't find you. So it's also important to not go back to that person who's been threatening you because it's just going to happen again. And they might actually be the predators that we need to watch out for. All right. So I have this. This one has happened to a person that I worked with. And so this is what I call it my online trust case study. So it's about a person who met somebody online. It was a different celebrity, but we'll talk about it. And they met somebody, and the person wanted to know, and the family of this person wanted to know, should she trust this person and do this? It might be an actual friend. So this person's Rachel, not the actual name, but it's Rachel. And so Rachel likes to go on Taylor Swift's fan page, on her actual page on Instagram and Facebook, and post comments. And so through commenting on Taylor Swift's page, Tammy started reaching out to Rachel. And Tammy says, "Hey, I saw that you're going to the Cincinnati, Ohio Taylor Swift concert. I'm going to be there too. And since you're going to be there, can we meet up and exchange these bracelets that everybody's doing? They make these Taylor Swift letter bracelet things. And so they wanted to meet up and exchange bracelets. So this family approached me and said, should she do this? Because a lot of people are doing this, and it's the thing to do if you're a Swiftie, right? You exchange these bracelets at concerts. So I actually worked with this family to work through this and say, this would be a great opportunity for her to meet somebody. And but let's look at this before we decide if this person should meet up. So we looked at a few things. We looked at those 5 online trust things, and we looked at the comments that Tammy has been posting. So Tammy posted comments publicly on Taylor Swift's page, and she replied publicly to Rachel's comments, meaning the whole world can see what Tammy has written. It's not secret. Everybody can see it. And it looked genuine. It looked nice. She was being kind and respectful to Rachel and really engaging with her through the public page Taylor Swift has. Then the next thing we looked at the messages that Tammy sent her. And Tammy never once asked for her cell phone number. She was okay with talking through Instagram because that's where it was happening. And so that was a good thing. That was yep, they didn't ask to go private. They never asked for personal information. And then we were reading the messages further between Rachel and Tammy, and they liked the different Taylor Swift songs. Somebody liked this song, and this person was like, nope, I like this song more. So it wasn't like, I agree 100% with you. We're the same person. No, Tammy had different opinions, which is great. That means that she could be a real person and not have bad intent to harm Rachel. Then the last thing we looked at is Tammy said something in the message. And what she said is, do you have anyone else coming with you to the concert? If so, let's all meet and exchange bracelets. So it wasn't something where Rachel had to go on her own and exchange a bracelet on her own with this person alone. This person was totally fine with Rachel's family coming with her. So looking at all of these things, it met everything for online trust. Tammy had different opinions. She didn't ask to go private in any way. She was okay with Tammy's friends and family coming with her, or with Rachel's friends and family coming with her. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. As long as the family goes with her, we're fine. Go ahead and do it. And it was a real person. It was a real person that was legit. Person who said they were, they exchanged bracelets and had a great time. So that was a huge thing for Rachel. She made a friend online. Don't know if they're still talking because I haven't talked to them since then. But Tammy and Rachel were both real people and actually made a friendship out of this Taylor Swift thing. So that was a huge, yes, trust Tammy. She's real. She is who she said she is. Then we have Robert here. This is another kiddo that I've worked with. Robert was using Bumble. It's an app that I don't recommend, but it's a dating app. And Bumble is about dating online and making friends and trying to find somebody to date. And so Robert was like, yep, I'm using Bumble and I'm going to find myself a girlfriend. So Katie is somebody that was on Bumble, started talking to Robert, and one day of talking, just one day, They only talked one day. She begins to say that she's Robert's girlfriend. And Robert's like, hey, I've got a girlfriend. She says she's my girlfriend. I've only been talking to her for one day. And suddenly she's like, oh, one day I'm your girlfriend. And can I have your address and phone number? And can you send me pictures of yourself? After just one day of talking. So with that, if Robert actually gave all this information, he could be potentially giving somebody his information for scams, for the person to do like some kind of fraud against Robert, steal his information. He could also be giving pictures of him that might be inappropriate to Katie. That might be something she or he, it might not even be a female. It could be a predator that's not actually a Katie and not who they say they are, because Katie might not have shown herself. So with Robert, he needs to end conversations with Katie right away, because Katie is asking for personal information without even knowing who Robert is. If anybody asks for personal information without knowing who you are, we got to stop. So this case study here for Robert, he should not talk to Katie anymore. He needs to block her. He could report her if she asked for inappropriate messages and content and images. But he shouldn't trust Katie at all. She would be somebody who might cause him harm, might be dangerous, because after one day, that's pretty behavior that is predator-like. So they could be somebody that's looking for, again, to cause harm against Robert. So Tammy, you can trust, because she was who she said she was from all the 5 online trust things we should look at. Robert here, Katie doesn't meet any of those 5 things. She's asking for personal information. She's asking for pictures after one day. She didn't wait any time to ask for this. So Robert shouldn't trust Katie and should probably stop talking to her, probably block her as well. All right. So the last thing here, online consent. We'll chat about this a little bit. So online consent, what that is it's a clear yes that is given between 2 different people online if anything is going to be inappropriate at all or sexual at all. So this happens a lot. I've gotten messages on Instagram that I've gotten filtered out asking me for inappropriate things, or sending me inappropriate things. I've had that happen too. So if nobody asks, can I send you this? Or is it okay if you see this? Or any kind of a statement where you need to give a clear yes between both people. Anything that is sexual of nature, graphic nature, should not be shared. So consent is a clear yes where both people understand that I have given consent to see whatever they're going to send me, for them to message me whatever they're messaging me. So do know that if anything online that happens is sexual, it has to be consensual, of course, between 2 people that say yes. And the people that are doing it need to be over 18 years of age. Because if you're under 18 years of age, you're actually engaging in child pornography, and that is a cybercrime. So everything has to be over 18 and consensual. If anything is under 18, it is a cybercrime that can be very much reported and investigated and result in jail time, fines for whoever's engaging in it. So again, 18 years of age, you got to be an adult, and it needs to be consensual. If, for example, there might be a legal guardianship or conservatorship or anything like that as well, the people that are in that situation can get involved in that too. And that's something that you can go against. I had a young family that worked with me. Their daughter got in trouble for being pressured to send a picture of her undressing herself. And it happened. It was a cyber crime because While she was over 18, she had a legal conservator and guardianship. So there were things that happened there. It was a crime. The person did get investigated. So keep that in mind. If anything happens at all and it's not consensual or it's not understood consent, it needs to stop it and be reported, because they have violated laws, basically. So that needs to be investigated. So what needs to be talked about with online consent? This is really important. This is something that has to be talked about, even with the people who are under 18, because I've had a lot of young adults who have taken my digital literacy class, and they have said, hey, what happens if I get somebody who sends me a picture of themselves? They don't have any clothes on, and I don't want to see that. If that happens, that's not consent. The person didn't ask you for consent. So that's something that we need to think about with trust too. If somebody sends me that and they didn't ask for consent, probably something we need to think about with going into that relationship further. So consent has to be understood between both parties. The people need to know what they consented to. So yes, I consented to them sending me that. I wanted to see it. They wanted to see it. There's that consent. So making sure that has to be there. It has to happen. Otherwise, it can be a cybercrime. The other big thing is digital footprints. I'm not going to talk about this because it's usually in some other sessions that I do with safety, but digital footprints do exist. That means whatever's put out there is there for life. Even if you delete it, it's still in some kind of Facebook, Meta, Instagram, now X, which was Twitter, TikTok. It's in some kind of file cabinet somewhere on the cyber world. So even if you delete it, that thing stays there and people can still find it somehow. It's kind of scary how you can still find things that you posted on MySpace 20 years ago when MySpace isn't still a thing, but you can find it. So digital footprints, whatever you put, like footprints on on sand, they don't go away. They can't be washed away. It's there forever. So whatever's through there exists, and whatever you post online, send through text messages, it's stuck there for life. So thinking about, do you really want somebody to see that picture of you from 20 years from now? Thinking about that too with online consent and sharing that kind of stuff online. The last one that I'll talk about a little bit is something that I get approached about a lot. A lot of times I get talked to about pornography addiction because it's a real thing that's happening. Lots of research is being done with it now, especially in the field of special education and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So when addiction happens with this, I've had lots of families approach me with this and say it's a safe place to learn about sexuality. It's not a safe place to learn about it. It's your own personal decision on if you want to do that stuff or not. However, it is very important to know that you need to be careful for where you're finding that stuff. So if you have anybody who's engaging in that, if you or yourself is engaging in it, that's your decision again. Just be careful of the sites that are used, because some sites are not, they will take your personal information. They're not legit. They're tracked. So there's a lot of spy and firmware stuff that happens through that. Hard to explain, but yes, make sure you watch out for any of, it's not, some site that's just out there giving people things, then taking things from you as well. Also, you have to be above 18, otherwise it's a cyber crime. That's also important to remember. So that's my plug on that, because that's not my area of expertise right now. Again, I get approached a lot about that. So just something I wanted to plug in because I get a lot of questions about that. Okay, so let's talk about the last thing here. All that heavy material, that was so much. That was a lot of things, and probably some things you didn't want to hear about, but it needs to be put out there. So if you know that you have the power when you're using social media, when you're using the internet and technology. The user yourself has all the power in what they want to see, what they want to engage in, what they're following, what they're messaging, and all of that. The user has the power. So if you're seeing things that you don't want to see, you can actually unlike and unfollow so much that Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat gets the algorithm written for you. If you don't know what an algorithm is, it's something out there on this in the cyber world where it reads what you're saying and then it makes materials for you to see that you will like. So I like dog videos, cat videos, animal videos, all of that. The more I like those videos, the more I see of them. So algorithms will take out any things that I don't want to see. So on Facebook, I can push a little X and say, don't show me this kind of stuff anymore. The algorithm reads that and says, okay, she doesn't want to see this. I'm going to give her more puppy videos. So the user really has the power to individualize their social media. The more you like, the more you say you don't like something, the more they're going to make it personalized to what you actually want to see and engage in. The other big thing to know is you don't have to follow everyone. If your best friend is on Facebook and they're posting things that bring you down, make you upset, bother you, you can unfriend them. It's okay. And if that person gets mad at you for unfriending them, if they realize that you unfriended them and that you don't follow them anymore, you can just say, hey, it's my social media. I want to see what I want to see. You can also snooze them so you don't see it if you don't want to unfriend them. But most often people don't know that you're not following them. And it's okay. It's your social media. You have the say in it. Somebody gets mad you're not following them. That's on them, not you. It's up to you. You really do have the power in what you're seeing and engaging in and making the decisions on what comes up on your pages. Because the algorithm will make that. Whoops, that was me. Will make that for you the more you engage with it. All right. And also, you don't have to have thousands of friends on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. Going viral is very hard. I have to talk to a lot of high schoolers about not wanting to go viral. So if you go viral, lots of people are accessing your page and sending you things that you don't want to see. I did an experiment with it once with my class, and I saw a lot of things I didn't want to see because I did go viral. And it's very overwhelming and not something that I would wish on anybody because you get a lot of weird pictures that you don't want to see. So it doesn't matter. The number of followers and friends you have online, it doesn't matter. It's just a number. So a lot of Facebook people are now trying to hide those numbers and Instagram because of some mental health things happening with people wanting to go viral. Okay, what else? I think that's what I wanted to end with is that you have the power in making social media what you want it to be and being safe online.